Hello all, welcome to Tip Top C Sharp tutorial series. In previous part we have already understood the concept of polymorphism. In this video we will be looking at some of the typical interview questions on polymorphism using virtual, override, sealed and new keywords. What we'll be doing is we'll define three classes, class A, class B and class C, where class A will be base class and B will derive from A and C will derive from B. And let's see case by case how C sharp will behave. So the case 1 will be where class A defines a virtual methods and B overrides it and C also overrides it. This is a simple case. Let's flip to Visual Studio. For ease of understanding, I have already created project. I'll create class A and I will define a method public void print me, and I just want to print class name where method from class A. Now in the same way I will define class B and class C as well. B deriving from A and deriving from B. The class name is C. We'll make this B. The simple case is where base class tells that my method is virtual and base class overrides them. So this is a simple case. We'll create instance of each of the classes. A obj A equals to new A. I'll create another one A obj B new B. So I'm creating three objects, each of object of class A, class B and class C. I'll try to print obj A dot print me, B dot print me and obj C dot print. Now if you observe carefully, all the objects are referred by class A. Let's execute and see. The methods are getting executed as per expectation. First class method from class A, second method from class B and third method from class C. So this is the simplest case where base is defining a virtual method and derived classes are overriding the virtual methods. Let's flip to PPT. Yeah, we're done with case 1. Now we'll move to case 2 where class A defines virtual method, class B defines marks it as serial. That's why C will not be able to do anything. Let's change the code. Now if you see, it gives you an error telling that cannot override the method because it's a seal. Let's comment out this one. Now this code remains same. Let's see what will be the output of. So if you see the change is I have marked the class B method as sealed. That's why class C will not allow me to override the class. I have commented out the method. Now as C does not define anything of its own, you can say that a method or the call goes back to the class B because C is deriving from class B. Moving back to PPT. Now let's make it complicated. The case 3 is where A is defining virtual, A is marking the class as virtual, B is overriding it, but C is marking the class as new. Let's see. So I'll get rid of the sealed and I'll remove the commented code. Now instead of override, I will have new. The above code remains same. Let's execute and see. Now if you observe carefully, even though class C has its own implementation, it prints method from class B because there is no connectivity. Class A defines it as an virtual, B overrides it, but it doesn't know that. It's not overriding the exact class. It's having its own class. If you go back and see, this is because we are having object of A. And A goes here and see, is there somebody who is overriding it? Yes, it's overriding it. But if you see it C, there is nobody who is overriding the existing behavior. So it will print from B. Friends, understand that this is one of the important interview question which will be asked to confuse you. So how to make sure that a method from class B is called is, you can change this instance to C. Now if you have object of C which is referenced by class C, then class C method will be printed. Now you can see that class A, both are pointed from class A. Object B are referenced by pointers of A and A, but whereas object C is referenced by pointer of class C. That's why it is called as method hiding, where it hides the method from all the other classes. Or override virtual relationship is broken whenever you use new keyword. Now let's go back to PPT. We have another case where A provides it as a virtual, B will have new keyword, C will override this one. Let's implement this one. I will change the same code. I will mark this as an override. I'll mark this as new. Now if you see, what it tells is C cannot override the inherited member because it's not marked as virtual, because C now cannot connect directly with class A. That's why it will say that it gives you an builder error. So the connection has to go from top to down. If you break it anywhere in between like this, where you are breaking the connection, now again you have to mark this as an virtual. So new virtual. Now if you mark it as virtual, then it will be able to point to this one. Now if I do like this and if I execute with A and A, let's see what will be the output. The output is every time is from method A. This is because class A does not know that somebody is overriding the specified method. That's why the relationship is broken and the method from class A is printed. Whereas if you want specific behavior from each of the classes, reference by this one, if you observe, now there is a new connection between new virtual and this one, where if you execute, you can see that ABC is printed. I recommend you to practice all these cases so that it will be easy for you also to understand the things. Now the case 5 is virtual, sealed and new, where base class defines the method as virtual, B is marking it as sealed and C is trying to create a new class. Let's see. I'll change this back to A and A. Now if you say it override will give an error, but instead you can have new. But if you execute this one, now it will be same, because you are not overriding the existing class, but you are having your own implementation. To access something where you are having your own implementation or you are using new for a method, you have to remember that you have to I'm defining object C of class C and also referencing this with class C. That's when I can access print me. If I am not doing it, I cannot access this one. So these covers most complicated cases where you can get confused with new, sealed, virtual and override keywords. I again ask you to practice all these things before you go for any interview. Some tips to remember: overridden method will be called if virtual overridden relationship is established. Only if there is a continuous connection between virtual override. If not, it will not be. If a method is marked with new keyword, then it will be called only if you call that method with exact same class name. So you have to remember this one. This is very important. That's why it is called as method hiding, where it tries to hide all the methods which were implemented previously. That should cover most of the cases. Let me know if I have missed out any of the cases. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.